Hello, everyone. Hoping that you're enjoying this second day at AlterCOP. So I'm here today to walk the talk and to show you how at Muuse we make reuse second nature in everyday life. So first of all, what about our name? We are called Muuse. Muuse standing for multiple use, which means that we are in the circularity exactly as it was explained to you before. The objective is just to be in the loop, reuse, 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 and not to drop anything in the landfill. So at Muuse, we thought about how's the future looking like. So for us, the future is not creating waste. For us, the future is running on platform like ours in order to embed the circularity in your everyday life, meaning that circularity could be applied on absolutely every item. So what does this mean? That means to stop and definitely to rethink and redesign everything we are doing today in order to not provoke any waste tomorrow. So we've been doing our part, and today at Muuse, we decided to stop the waste at the source, meaning exactly as Anne has been mentioning, that instead of having a single-use cup for your drink tonight, you're gonna have it in a reusable cup, which gonna be reused, 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 and eventually one day upcycled. Not thrown in the landfill, not recycled neither, but upcycled in order that we close the loop. So by doing so, we've been calculating that we can bring down our emission by 80%. So basically tonight when you're gonna have your dinner, it's gonna be cutting down by exactly 81% compared to if you would have used single-use catering. So how does it work at Muuse in order that we can provide a platform which works in order to have reusable cutlery, reusable packaging for food and beverage? So basically, we developed our activity today on food and beverage packaging, okay? But you have to rethink that this could be applicable to any items, because now that we developed the technology behind, that we proved it's working, then the tech can be applied on anything. Like, for example, you were mentioning Decathlon on reusing items secondhand, but it could be borrowing and giving back, and borrowing and giving back in order to have a circular economy. So today, those are the different use cases we have. We operate in cafe, in restaurants where you can ask for your takeaway or for your delivery in reusable packaging, but also in real estates and corporate pantry. For example, you're at the office, you want to go for your lunch, to grab your food, to take away and come back at the office. So for example, we provide all the reusable packaging in your pantry. We also service full buildings which have decided to go on zero waste. So we have different example of all of that. I'm gonna give you some success story, because really now it's to show you that it already exists and it's just on everyone, every single person to implement it, right? So we also do catering and food delivery. So you have some picture here. You're gonna be experiencing it tonight, what it can be zero waste catering. We also service some festivals. Like for example, next Saturday, you can find us in some electric music festivals, but sometimes it's at MBS for the Christmas party. So it can be a wide range of corporate event, of festival, of food delivery, or white labels. What do I mean by white labels? Imagine Starbucks wants to go onto a reusable cup. They will not go with our logo on it. They will go with the branding of Starbucks on it. So that's exactly what we're doing. In Hong Kong, today, as we are speaking, we are opening the 50th Starbucks, which is running on reusable cups. So we started last year with 5 Starbucks in Hong Kong, and today we are opening the 50th 50. So that's the way to go, little by little. And let's say that, okay, if not our brand is not on it, that's fine, as long as we are doing and implementing the change, as long as we are cutting the waste. So you can also find us in shopping malls, in food courts, in Ochre Center. We've been servicing the Tampines Ochre Center for 1 year. Ion Food Court, for example, at the moment in Sentosa. If you go to ask for some food in Sentosa, that's going to be serviced in the exact same tray that you're going to be enjoying tonight. So in terms of, I told you about success story. Why? Because it's really important for today to bring solutions which are already existing, to not reinvent the wheel. And sometimes innovation doesn't mean complexification, more often in simplification. So as it was said just before me, like rethink, do not create, just simplify, cut the waste at the source and use something which is already proven and working. So for example, real estate. All the Struye properties in Hong Kong decided to go zero waste. They run on Muuse. All tenants in food and beverage in Hong Kong in Struye properties are running on Muuse, meaning that you enter, you want your coffee to go, and then you're going to have it in a Muuse cup. So that's the kind of, let's say, big actors who decided to go really bold and say, okay, from now on, we are zero waste. And then they spread the word. So we have different examples. For example, we are performing at Singtel. Singtel Canteen is running also on our reusable. We are, for example, performing in terms of restaurant in Salad Stop, in terms of cafe in Plain Vanilla. So it's all around you, not very visible. But if you look for reusable, they can be in your company, they can be in your favorite coffee shop, they can be in a restaurant, in the event today. But what is important is that you're not even thinking of it. Today, you're not giving the choice of eating in a reusable, but then all the logistic has been thought and defined and designed for you in order to make it convenient. So convenience for us is absolutely the key. So how does it work? You basically order your takeaway, your drink, into a reusable. You just scan it when it's in an open city model, and then you just return, and we do the full magic behind the retro logistic, let's say. So meaning that, for example, very often I have plenty of questions on our logistic, how it works, where can I drop it, how am I sure that it's sanitized, but I'm eating halal, how can I ensure this is halal? So we are the expert on it. I thought I was working on circularity. No, right now I'm an expert in logistics. That's what I became. And in plastics also, and kind of plastics. So I'm going to talk a bit more about that. But basically, you just have to enjoy the same way as usual. Either you're a Muser, you're on our app, you downloaded your app, you have your Muuse account, and then you can see on the app wherever you can find us in town. Either you have been provided directly in our recyclable, okay? So then you just have to return, and overnight, we just collect everywhere in town, all the packaging. We do the sanitization with certified third party, which are the certified by the government, which are exactly the same, which are performing in your Ochre centers or in your food court, halal, non-halal, everything is separated just under all the certification as for any food operator. I'll take question after. So, for example, for an event like today, it's exactly that. For you, it's just going to be enjoying it and tossing it in a specific return station, let's say. But what has been done before is all the logistic around in order that for the end consumer, it's seamless. It's easy. You don't have to think about it, that we remove it from the equation. So that's what we've been doing with Fair Price. In order to perform in some of the food court that they are providing. That's what we have been doing with Singtel. That's also what we're doing with Starbucks, as I was mentioning. Tomorrow, let's say that the events are bigger and bigger. It's about servicing more and more volume. For example, we're going to be servicing the MBS Christmas party, 20,000 drinks in one day. And that's just running on few thousands of cups. And then the circularity, all the scheme is going faster and faster in order that we increase our figures and that we can reuse again and again and again. So today, we've been saving almost 500,000 of packaging from landfill. Actually, we just finished a pilot in the US that we just concluded in October, so we are waiting for the final figures. But a full city came on running on reusable only in the US for the full summer during 3 months, meaning that you would go to that city, you would ask your drink to go, you would pick up by car, which is quite the tendency over there, you would be served automatically by default into a reusable cup. So they launched that program beginning of the summer, and actually we're waiting for the final account, but we saved almost 350,000 for sure. We served almost 500,000 in just 3 months, just by not giving the option of people going on disposable. And they were so positively impressed by the pilot that they asked us to relaunch it next year and to implement it as a way of living in that city. So you can Google Petaluma and Muuse, and you're going to see what was the project about. And that was only today for drinks. So why am I mentioning Hong Kong with Starbucks and the US? You're going to say, but Muuse is not such a big company, right? But actually, we operate not only in Singapore, but also in Hong Kong, in the US, and in Canada. But all this market, you can imagine, because the mindset is different, the activity is very different. So what do we operate? To reach those figures, we operate full city model in the US. In Canada, it's every weekend, all events, farmer markets, which are systematically running on reusable. And here and in Hong Kong, it's more for the takeaway and the coffee shop locally. So basically what is important is to rethink and to adapt to your public. It's not to force anyone into a system that people are not willing to adapt. So it's really to adapt your service to the public, bringing us to 98% of return, which is quite a good average. So those are a number of all our customers here only in Singapore. So according to the different name, I can tell you that this is a canteen, this is just the island-wise in Sentosa, this is a pantry model, this is delivery food, this is catering, this is their own brand, so you won't see Muuse, but you're going to be drinking into a Muuse cut. It's really different models, always adapted to the need, but always, always, always making it simple. So either the tech is applied or not. Very often people are like, oh, that's not really high tech, it's just a QR code. Yeah, but we've been proving that it's working. And if it's working, then it's easier for your user. So today we have different article in our catalog. Why am I showing that picture? Because I'm very often challenged on the material here. Yeah, it's plastic. It's plastic. But plastic, some people are going to tell you that it is fantastic and it can be part of the solution also. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that I've done my calculation, and exactly as it was said before, everything is defined in the design phase, right? So you can't imagine the amount of time behind sourcing the right product, and why this product, and why not a fancy packaging with a lot of colors, return me, I'm reusable, with nice coating and painting, etc. You see where I'm going? Because then I'm stopping my process of upcycling. If I have different colors, if I have different painting, etc., then I cannot just make a new article out of it. So every single article that we've been putting on our catalog has been thought this way. Same for the cutlery. The cutlery is made of stainless steel. Our cups, they are either in specific plastic or in stainless steel. So for the stainless steel, fortunately, I can provide stainless steel cups or cutlery made out of 75% of recycled material. So I'm already breaking down my impact when sourcing my product. Then, where am I sourcing my product? And what am I doing with my product once it's at the end of his life? So basically, it's very simple. We've been running life cycle analysis. So I told you, like, I'm reducing by 81% my emission by using reusable. According to the product, I can tell you for each of them, like, for example, that soup bowl, I need to use it up to 5 times in order that I compensate for the emission of creating and transporting a single-use one. For this clamshell, it's only 3 times. So basically, we've been sourcing as local as possible. Of course, the way of shipping is important. Why some products, which are maybe not the sexiest that you can find on the market, has been selected to serve us? Because, for example, you have the stackability. Okay, so if you work in logistic and that you have a bulk of packaging that you cannot stack, then you're using a much more higher volume. Then you're consuming more CO2 each time that you need to transport it. Because all this packaging, basically, they're transported 3 times per day. They're delivered where you're gonna eat. Then they're gonna be delivered overnight for sanitization, and then they're gonna come back to our warehouse. So you have to think about the emission of transporting them, not only from producing country to Singapore, but also like in the everyday operations. And if I want to turn onto electrical vehicles, I need light packaging. I cannot go with stainless steel for everything because this is very heavy. And then the performance of my electrical vehicles is not so good. So basically, everything exactly as it was said before, and this is walking the talk, it's about defining, designing, selecting the solution, but thinking on absolutely each phase of it. And as you can see, it's quite a lot of calculation. You can imagine that behind. I'm also calculating how much water I'm using when washing. How is powered the washing line? How is the energy to wash? How can I optimize the storage space? Because as you know, we have some space issue in Singapore. So it's all of that. And that's why company like Muuse, for example, are covering all those questions for you. And they're removing that pain for you if this is the service you need. If this is something which can inspire you in your own business, then I'm really happy to share more on all those details of how we do calculate all of that. But when the solution is existing on the market, just go for it. Just take it, don't reinvent. We have so many corporation who came to us like, how do you track the data? Because we developed a dashboard. We spent like 6 months developing the dashboard. Why would you do that? It's not your core business. We've done it for you. You just have to plug our item in your system and this is done. So what we provide, okay, it's containers, yes. Today it's containers cutting your CO2 emission, but it's also all the advice, all the expertise either on the logistic, either on the kind of plastic. Is it PP? Is it plastic number 4, number 7? It really makes a difference. And then, based on all of that, we can provide you with the data on your carbon impact. So that's in a nutshell what we do at Muuse. And as said, we're always happy to adapt our service to the exact need and budget of our customer, because budget should not be the constraint in order to cut CO2. And this should not be touching also on the bottom line of your company. This is not sustainability versus affordability. This is just making sustainability really in your day-to-day life seamless and just another way of thinking and doing things.